There is a battlefield you walk upon every day. It is not made of dirt, blood, or steel. It is made of thought, and the war you fight is invisible. Every morning, before your feet even touch the floor, forces are at work: doubt, fear, laziness, distraction, each one whispering reasons why you should settle for less than you were born to claim. And yet, on the other side, there are voices just as real: discipline, faith, courage, persistence. They do not shout, they wait. They wait for your command. That this is the truth most people never understand. Your mind is not your master, it is your servant. If you do not take command of it, something else will. And when that happens, your destiny belongs to the loudest influence in the room, not to you. Think of Edison, working through thousands of failed experiments, not because he enjoyed failure, but because he understood a law as unshakable as gravity, that the mind, once fixed on a vision, will carve reality to match it. Think of Henry Ford, laughed at by the so-called experts for believing he could build an engine that ran without horses, only to make the automobile a birthright of every household. These men were not born with the answers. They were born with the same chaos you and I wake up to. The difference: they commanded their minds, and the world obeyed. If you are waiting for the perfect moment, understand this: there is no perfect moment. There is only the moment you decide. Decision is the turning of the key. It is the moment the servant bows to the master, and in that moment the impossible begins to bend. But decision without discipline is a spark without fuel. That is why most people live in circles, deciding 100 times to change, yet never following through long enough for the transformation to take root. They start the race but drop out when the road grows steep. And here lies the first commandment of self. You must train your mind to obey you, not your emotions. Your emotions will change with the weather. The wind shifts, and the feeling is gone. But a trained mind will walk through fire while the rest of the world is running for water, the great Napoleon Hill wrote. You have absolute control only over one thing: your thoughts. Everything else, the economy, the politics, the storms of life, will always be beyond your command. But if you can master the only thing you truly own, you can shape the things you do not. Look closely at the people you admire, not the ones who flash for a moment and fade, but those whose names are carved into history. They were not blessed with perfect conditions. They were forged in adversity. Lincoln was born in a log cabin and buried a child before he buried a war. Disney was told 1,000 times that no one would pay to watch a mouse. Carnegie came to America penniless and built an empire of steel. Do you see the thread? The mind ruled, the destiny conquered. And yet, here is where most people fall. They mistake interest for commitment. They like the idea of success, the picture on the vision board, the goosebumps from a motivational video, but they have never signed the contract in blood. They have never told their mind, no matter what, we do not retreat. To command your mind, you must first strip it of the lies it has believed. The lie that you are not ready. The lie that you are not worthy. The lie that because you have failed, you are a failure. These are not truths, they are infections, and you must treat them as such. So begin today, not tomorrow, not next week, today, to take inventory of your thoughts. You would not let a stranger fill your home with trash and poison. Yet every day, most people let strangers, headlines, and gossip fill their minds with mental garbage. You would not drink water from a poisoned well, yet you drink words that kill your ambition. The mind will become what you feed it. Feed it doubt, and it will grow excuses. Feed it vision, and it will grow solutions. And once you command it to serve the vision, instead of the fear, it will begin to work in the background, finding connections, creating opportunities, sharpening your focus until the world you once only imagined begins to harden into reality. The first command is belief, the second is clarity, the third is discipline. And when these three move together, they form the unbreakable trinity upon which every fortune, every empire, every great achievement in history has been built. But there is still more, much more, because the battle for your destiny does not end with taking command. It only begins there, because once you have seized the reins of your mind, the world will test whether you are worthy to hold them. It will not test you gently. It will send storms that rip the sails from your ship. It will send delays that make you question whether the journey is even real. And it will send people you trust, people you love, to tell you it can't be done. This is where the second battle begins, not for control of your thoughts, but for the endurance of your will. Every dream, every vision that has ever reshaped the world has had to walk through the valley of resistance. It is here, in this valley, that the weak-minded turn back. They see the darkness, they hear the echoes of doubt, and they convince themselves that maybe it was never meant to be. But the one who has truly commanded his mind understands something vital. Resistance is not a sign you are on the wrong path. It is proof you are on the right one. No thief robs an empty vault. The fact that your journey is under attack means it contains treasure. Thomas Edison faced financial ruin more than once. His factory burned to the ground in the middle of the night, destroying years of work. When asked what he would do, he didn't curse the heavens or collapse in despair. He said, "Thank God all our mistakes were burned up. Now we can start fresh." That is the mind of a commander. You cannot fake that kind of resilience. You forge it, and you forge it in the fire of discipline. Discipline is the bridge between desire and destiny. Without it, your vision is a ghost, something you see but can never touch. With it, your vision becomes flesh and bone. The truth is, discipline is rarely convenient. It demands early mornings when your body craves more sleep. It demands late nights when your mind wants to shut down. It demands sacrifice when the crowd is indulging. But those who live without discipline are not free. They are slaves to impulse, prisoners to comfort, and captives to the momentary whims of emotion. Only the disciplined are freed. When Andrew Carnegie built his steel empire, it was not because he waited for the perfect market conditions or for inspiration to strike. It was because he mastered the dull, unglamorous, relentless habits that compound into power. He treated each day as a brick and laid it without fail, until an empire stood where there was once only dirt. And this is where most people stumble. They believe greatness is born from bursts of inspiration, forgetting that inspiration is a spark, and without the discipline to keep feeding the fire, it dies in the dark. So I tell you now, command your mornings before the world commands your day. Do not let your first thoughts be shaped by headlines, notifications, and the noise of other people's agendas. Instead, begin with intention. Guard the gateway of your mind. Start each day by directing your thoughts toward the life you are building, not the chaos you are avoiding. Because every thought is a seed, and every seed will grow into something whether you plant it consciously or let the weeds take root. Now, hear this truth. You will not feel motivated every day. You will not always feel like acting, like persisting, like pushing one more time. But that is exactly why you must command your mind, because if you only act when you feel like it, you will never build anything that lasts. Abraham Lincoln once said, "I will prepare, and someday my chance will come." Preparation is not glamorous. Preparation is the unseen grind, the nights spent studying while others sleep, the quiet practice when no one is clapping, the unseen rehearsals when nobody is watching. Commanders of the mind understand that the greatest victories are won long before the battle begins. When opportunity knocks, they do not scramble to become ready, they are already ready. And here is the paradox that destroys the complacent. If you do not prepare because you do not see opportunity, you will not see opportunity because you are not prepared. The mind only recognizes the doors it has been trained to open, so train it. Feed it, strengthen it, until it becomes a blade sharper than any doubt, stronger than any fear, and more unyielding than the storms that rise against you, because make no mistake, those storms will come. And when they do, the question will not be whether you can avoid them. The question will be whether you have commanded your mind so completely that even in the middle of the storm, you continue forward. Vision is the compass of the mind. Without it, even the strongest ship drifts. With it, the smallest boat can cross the fiercest ocean. When you command your mind, you are not simply forcing yourself into motion, you are aligning that motion toward a chosen horizon, and that horizon must be clear, vivid, and unshakable. Too many wander through life not because they lack effort, but because they lack direction. They wake up and work hard at the wrong things, pouring their energy into someone else's vision, wondering why fulfillment never comes. Effort without vision is like speed without a destination. You may be moving fast, but you are going nowhere. Andrew Carnegie once said he owed his fortune to one decision, the decision to know exactly what he wanted. And he did not merely think about it vaguely, he wrote it down, read it daily, and let every decision be filtered through it. That is not accident, that is command. You must see your future so clearly that it begins to feel inevitable. Close your eyes and picture it. The life, the surroundings, the people, the freedom, the impact. Picture it so vividly that your mind cannot tell the difference between imagination and memory. This is not fantasy. This is mental blueprinting. Your mind operates on images, not just words. The clearer the image, the stronger the pull toward it. When Walt Disney envisioned Disneyland, he saw it long before a single brick was laid. He could walk through the streets in his mind, hear the laughter, smell the popcorn, and watch the rides turn in motion. That mental image became the map, and reality followed. But here is the truth most will not tell you. A vision without a purpose will fade. Purpose is what keeps you on course when the winds of temptation push you toward comfort. Purpose is the steel that keeps you from trading your future for a moment's pleasure. Purpose is not just about what you want, it is about why you refuse to live without it. Ask yourself, what is the thing so important to you that you would endure humiliation, sacrifice, even failure, rather than walk away from it? If you cannot answer that, you will not last when the tests come. And they will come when purpose and vision combine. They create magnetism. People will call it luck, they will call it timing, but it will not be luck, it will be the inevitable pull of a mind that knows where it is going and refuses to turn back. Henry Ford once said, "Whether you think you can, or you think you can't, you're right." He did not say it to sound clever. He said it because he understood that the mind is a self-fulfilling prophecy. If your vision is to succeed, your thoughts will search for the evidence and the actions to make it so. If your vision is to fail, your thoughts will find the reasons and excuses to justify surrender. And this is where self-command becomes your greatest advantage. When you are the commander of your thoughts, you are not swayed by the temporary winds of emotion or the passing opinions of the crowd. You see the horizon, you adjust your sails, and you move forward relentlessly. But understand this, vision, it is not passive. It does not survive in the mind of the idle. It demands nurturing. It demands daily connection. Spend time with your vision every single day, not just thinking about it, but speaking it, writing it, feeling it. Let it become the default setting of your mind. Let it be the background image behind every thought you have, every decision you make, because the world will constantly try to replace your vision with its own, with distraction, with fear, with scarcity. If you do not anchor your vision deep, it will be stolen before you know it. And when it is anchored, when your purpose fuels it and your mind serves it, you become unstoppable, not because you are free of challenges, but because challenges no longer have the power to turn you around. Every great achievement in history was once only a vision in the mind of one person who refused to surrender it. Every fortune, every empire, every breakthrough began as a thought that someone decided was worth every ounce of their life to protect. The question is not whether you are capable. The question is whether you are willing to commit your mind so fully to your vision that nothing, no delay, no rejection, no failure can break it. And here is where command becomes destiny. A vision without action is a portrait in a locked room, beautiful perhaps, but powerless. Action is the hand that takes the idea out of the mind and carves it into the world. Commanding your mind is not just about shaping your thoughts, it is about making those thoughts obey the order to move. This is where most falter. They think, they dream, they imagine, but they never act with the force required to make the vision real. It is not enough to want. It is not enough to plan. The world does not pay for intentions. It pays for execution. Thomas Edison didn't just dream of the electric light. He built thousands of prototypes, often failing for months on end. Henry Ford didn't just think about affordable cars. He redesigned the assembly line until the impossible became the standard. Disney didn't just imagine a park. He dealt with bankers, fought lawsuits, and solved problems no one had ever faced before. Action is the bridge between mental ownership and physical possession. But here is the law. The longer you wait to act, the weaker your vision becomes. Procrastination is the assassin of destiny. It kills not with a single blow, but with a slow erosion of belief. Every day you delay is a day you teach your mind that you are not serious, and your mind will believe you. When Napoleon Hill studied the most successful men of his time, he discovered they all shared one trait: decisiveness. They acted quickly when opportunity appeared and stood firm when the world questioned them. This is not recklessness, it is faith in motion. Faith without works is a dream. Works without faith is labor without soul. But when faith and action unite, they generate the unstoppable momentum that bends reality in your favor. The problem for most is not that they lack ability. It is that they wait for perfect conditions. The perfect conditions never come. The hacked wind will never be just right. The resources will never feel enough. The path will never be perfectly clear. Action is not taken when the way is certain. Action is taken to make the way certain. When you command your mind, you act in the face of uncertainty, not in the absence of it. You understand that hesitation multiplies fear, while motion multiplies courage. You know that momentum is your greatest ally, and momentum can only be built through movement. Even small steps have power when they are consistent. A single brick laid every day becomes a wall. A single wall built every month becomes a fortress. This is the mathematics of destiny. But there is another truth. Not all action is equal. The world is filled with people who work tirelessly, yet get nowhere because their action is scattered, unfocused, reactive. Commanded action is deliberate, precise, aimed at the heart of the goal. This is why clarity of vision matters. It gives your action a target. Without a target, every step is a guess. With a target, every step is a bullet. And understand this, the act of moving toward your vision will provoke opposition. The higher you climb, the stronger the wind. When you begin to act with force, you will threaten the comfort of those who have chosen to stay still. They will try to slow you down, not always out of malice, but because your action reveals their inaction. You must decide now, will you let the fears of others dictate your pace, or will you march forward at the speed your destiny demands? Action is the great revealer. It will show you who your true allies are. It will show you where your weaknesses lie. It will show you what needs to be learned, what must be improved, and what must be discarded. And here lies one of the most powerful truths of all. You do not need to know the entire path before you start. You only need to see the next step and have the courage to take it. When the mind is commanded, it stops asking, "What if I fail?" and begins asking, "What if I win?" It stops saying, "I will try," and starts declaring, "I will do." It stops waiting for permission and starts giving itself orders, because the commander understands that destiny is not given, it is built. And every day without action is a day stolen from the life you were meant to live. Action alone will not crown you, because no matter how well you plan, no matter how fiercely you move, life will not unfold in a straight line. There will be detours you never saw coming. There will be storms that make you doubt the strength of your sails. There will be nights so dark you wonder if the sun still exists. This is where adaptability becomes the mark of a true commander. The rigid mind breaks under pressure. The commanded mind bends, adjusts, and finds another way. When one path is blocked, it does not curse the wall. It searches for the door, the rope, or the hammer to break through. Remember the story of Ford during the Great Depression. When the economy collapsed and other companies folded, Ford did not retreat. He re-engineered, re-strategized, and kept moving forward. The commanded mind understands that the obstacle is not the end. It is simply the next test. And here's the hidden beauty. Obstacles are not roadblocks. They are proving grounds. They are the place where your vision, your discipline, your belief, and your action are forged into something unshakable. When Edison failed 1,000 times, he did not call them failures, he called them discoveries. When Lincoln lost elections, businesses, and loved ones, he did not call it defeat, he called it preparation. This is adaptability. This is resilience. The commanded mind does not waste time crying over what could have been. It focuses on what can be. It is a mind that asks in every situation, how can this serve me? Not why me, but what now? And slowly, over time, this way of thinking builds a resilience so deep that even the harshest storms cannot tear you from your course. Resilience is not stubbornness. It is not refusing to change. It is the power to stand in the fire and still see the horizon. And this brings us to the final truth. The truth that will close this chapter and send you out into the world with your head high and your mind sharp. Your destiny is not written by chance. It is written by choice. You can choose to let your mind drift like an untamed ship, pushed, taken around by every wave of fear, doubt, and distraction. Or you can seize the wheel, fix your eyes on the horizon, and command every thought, every habit, every action to serve the life you are meant to live. This is not easy. It is not quick, but neither is greatness. And when the day comes, and it will, that you stand in the place you once only imagined, you will know that it was not luck, not fate, but the daily discipline of a commanded mind that brought you there. So rise, decide, see your vision, live your purpose, act without hesitation, adapt without fear, and never, ever surrender the throne of your mind to anything or anyone but the destiny you have chosen. Because when you command your mind, you command your destiny.